Hello children, last class we saw about the beneficial role of microorganisms, and this class we'll see about the harmful microorganisms or the diseases caused by microorganisms. And regarding the last class, the role of beneficial organisms, I will show some of the pictures of some microorganisms which play an important role, a beneficial role in our society. Let's view some of the pictures. This is penicillin. You know very well it is a very powerful antibiotic, and this is a very strong antibiotic against all bacterial infections. Once upon a time it was very famous, but this had some allergy. This was some people had allergy towards this medicine. So nowadays we are getting the same in different combinations. We are getting this kind of drugs, but it's a very effective drug against all bacterial infections. This is a picture of penicillin, which is a fungus. Then we have already seen about the different shapes of bacteria. The first one, rod bacillus, and spherical coccus, spirillum, spiral shaped spirillum. These are the different bacterial shapes. And fermentation process, which we have discussed already earlier. Sugar plus yeast. When sugar, if you add sugar, if you add yeast in the sugar solution, it will produce alcohol. This is known as a fermentation process, which plays a significant role in the wine industry. And this is a cyanobacteria, otherwise known as the blue-green algae, which plays a significant role in increasing the soil for fixing atmospheric soil fertility. These are the dry yeast, the yeast powder, and this is phytoplanktons, microscopic plants which form food for the fishes, for the type of aquatic organisms, phytoplanktons. And this is Italy batter. And these are the yeast powder. Yeast powder, when you add with maida and all, it makes a softening. That is what this is used in the baking industry. The dough becomes very soft when you add yeast powder. Then this is, I think you're all familiar with this picture. This bread being affected by the fungus, and you just cannot consume the bread which is already been affected by the fungus. If you want to view the fungus, you have to take the help of a thin pencil or anything. The superficial layer of the fungus just can be kept on the glass slide, and if you view it under the microscope, you will be able to see the fungal spores. So the bread being affected by the fungus, that so that you cannot consume it. So this is what the bread affected by fungus. So children, these pictures, I think, and this is wine. Okay, wine in this yeast plays a significant role. And this yeast powder is what they add in the baking and brewing industry. They add this yeast powder. And now we will see the harmful microorganisms. There are harmful microorganisms in many ways. They are harmful in many ways. They cause several diseases in human beings, plants, and animals. Such disease-causing microorganisms are called pathogens. They are known as pathogens. And some other microorganisms, they spoil food, clothing, leather, even other things also. And now we'll see about the disease-causing microorganisms in humans. Okay, pathogens. Already we know what is a pathogen. Pathogen or disease-causing microorganisms. They enter our body through air, food, water, soil, or direct contact with the infected person or with an infected animal. So the healthy person gets, if he has contact with an infected person or an animal. Diseases which spread through these methods are called communicable diseases. So communicable diseases, easily they can spread from one person to another. Okay, such diseases are called communicable diseases. We'll see some of the examples for communicable diseases, which are cholera, cold, chickenpox, tuberculosis, etc. These are all communicable diseases. Easily, these diseases are spread from an infected person to a healthy person. So, for example, we'll see when a person suffering from common cold, he sneezes, very well droplets of moisture carrying thousands of viruses are spread in the air. So when it coughs or sneezes, that moisture content which comes from its body will be having thousands of viruses. So they may enter the body of a healthy person while breathing and may cause infection in the healthy person. So what are the safety measures we can take to avoid such infections? What are the safety measures? Your best protection from the common cold or flu or whatever is frequent hand washing. That is very, very important. Okay. Frequent hand washing. What's going to come in that hand washing? How we are going to prevent the disease causing microorganisms by washing our hands? What happens when we wash our hands thoroughly? The simple friction that occurs when you rub skin against skin, that is you just rub your hands, that is what skin against skin, with warm water and soap, followed by thorough rinsing and drying. It will kill all the potential harmful germs that are present in your hands. So that is what frequent hand washing is very, very important to protect yourself from these kinds of infections. That is what in this COVID-19 situation also government is insisting us to wash our hands frequently. Okay, another thing is these germs are often transferred to other household objects like telephones, doorknobs, toothbrushes, etc. How we can protect? We have to wash all those objects with an antiseptic liquid or a lotion, so that to protect ourselves from these diseases. Okay, then we'll see about other things. There are some insects and animals which act as carriers or vectors of disease causing microorganisms. First of all, the first one is housefly. Housefly is a carrier, one such carrier. What happens? The flies sit on the garbage and animal excreta, and pathogens stick to the body's hairy bodies. The body is hairy, so it stick to the hairy bodies. When these flies sit on uncovered food, they may transfer the pathogen, and the food gets contaminated. Whoever eats it, and it might the people whoever eats it might fall sick. So it is always advisable to keep food covered. That is very, very important. Another carrier is all we are very familiar with some kind of mosquitoes. They also act as carriers, or we can say vectors. First of all, you'll see female Anopheles mosquito, which are the carriers for the pathogen of malaria. They carries the pathogen of malaria. And the next one is female Aedes mosquito, which acts as a carrier of dengue virus. In these cases, we cannot control the pathogens since they are microscopic, but we can control the carriers or the vectors in order to get rid of these diseases. Only the carrier, the mosquitoes and the houseflies, we can control them. Okay, how we can control them? Step 1. All mosquitoes, we know very well, all mosquitoes breed in water. So we must not let water to collect anywhere. Okay, by keeping our surroundings dry and clean, we can prevent mosquitoes from breeding. This is the most important thing in order to get rid of these vectors or the carriers. Now we'll have a look at the tabular column. Okay, the tabular column, and we'll see what's given in the tabular column. These are the common human diseases caused by some of the microorganisms. We'll see one by one. First, they are given diseases name and the causative, that is a pathogen, mode of transmission, and how we can prevent it. Tuberculosis. Tuberculosis is caused by a bacteria. Mode of transmission through air. Measles virus, same air. Chickenpox virus, from an infected person to a healthy person or through air. Polio virus, through air and by contaminated water. So how we can prevent from all these diseases? Immediately we have to keep the patient in complete isolation. he must be kept separately, and all his belongings should be kept separately. That is very, very important. And vaccination, some of these vaccination is there, and vaccination should be given at a suitable age in order to protect, avoid these kind of diseases. The next one is cholera. That is also caused by bacteria. This spreads by contaminated food and water. And typhoid, that is also caused by bacteria, that is contaminated water. So here we have to follow personal hygiene and good sanitary habits. That is our surroundings everywhere. It should be very hygienic, and we have to always consume properly cooked food and boiled drinking water. That's very, very important. And by vaccination we can protect from such diseases. Then hepatitis B, it is caused by a virus. Contaminated water, drink boiled water always, and vaccination is the best method. Then malaria, already you know it's caused by a protozoan, the carrier or the mosquito, so you have to control the mosquitoes. So always use a mosquito net or the repellents, and you have to spray insecticides, and we have to control the breeding of mosquitoes by not allowing water to collect anywhere near your surroundings or inside your house or whatever. Okay, then we'll see about the disease causing organisms in animals. In animals, what happens here? See, animals, it's given in your book about anthrax, which is a very dangerous disease that affects both human and cattle. Actually, Robert Koch, he was a scientist who discovered this bacterium. It is a bacteria. The bacteria name is Bacillus anthracis, and which causes anthrax. So Robert Koch, he found out, and it affects more cattle only. But vaccination is the best for this. The animal becomes very weak and fever. It's very dangerous. And the next one is foot and mouth disease of cattle, which is caused by a virus. That is also very dangerous infection caused by the virus. Shivering, what are the symptoms related to this in cattle? Shivering and tender and sore feet, and sores and blisters on the feet, painful, very painful it will be. Blisters or elevation on the skin, it will be filled with a fluid, those are called blisters. That will be very painful for the animal. Then we'll see about the disease causing microorganisms in plants. Some microorganisms cause diseases in plants like wheat, rice, potato, sugarcane, orange, apple, and so many other crops. These diseases reduce the yield of crops, and they can be controlled by use of certain chemicals which kill the microorganisms. And we'll have a look at the tabular column. Some common plant diseases caused by microorganisms. First one is given the citrus canker, which is caused by a bacteria, mode of transmission through air, and completely it affects the fruits and the leaves of the plants. And it's present and it's seen in citrus by the name itself, you know, lime, orange, all these kind of fruits it affects, mostly lime and orange. The next one is rust of wheat. It affects wheat. It's caused by a fungus, and mode of transmission through air and by the infected seeds also. It also completely rusting, so the color itself, you know, rusting, so it causes the wheat plant, that rusting of the wheat plant, that color it makes, it produces that kind of color in which the plant dies. And one more is yellow vein mosaic of bindi, that is lady's finger. It is also caused by viruses, and the mode of transmission is by insect. The insect, tiny insect, these insects are known as white flies. They completely spoil the entire plant. They feed on the under side of the plant leaf. They will be feeding and they cause destruction. And they carry, actually, these they feed on the plants and they carry the virus, which causes total destruction of the plant. Then we'll see about food poisoning. This is also a thing caused by the microorganism, food spoiling. It could be due to consumption of food spoiled by some microorganisms. Microorganisms which grow on our food sometimes produce toxic or poisonous substances, and these make the food very to become toxic, poisonous, causing several illness, very severe illness, and sometimes even death, fatal it is. So it is important to preserve the food before it is getting spoiled. So always we have to eat properly cooked, covered food. And we'll see in the next class some food preservation methods and about nitrogen cycle. And so far we have seen about all the diseases caused by microorganisms, how it affects human beings, what are communicable diseases, what are the vectors or the carriers, and how it affects animals and plants. I will give you some homework related to this harmful microorganism, which you can do, I think so. How can we control the spread of malaria or dengue? See, we have already discussed in our class what are the control measures. I already said we can control the vectors. So I have already given 1 or 2 points. You just make 5 points, 5 control measures. The spread of malaria or dengue, how you can control. You have to control only the vectors. I need some 5 points how you can control the spreading of malaria or dengue. Then one more thing for you, how can we control the spread of diseases that affects plants and animals? What are the control measures we can take? Here also I need 5 points, 5 control measures to control this kind of diseases. Okay children, so next class we'll see about the food preservation, the methods under that, and about the nitrogen cycle. Okay, thank you children, have a good day.